Hello, welcome to Glass Half Empty Reviews. I'm the pessimist, and Star Wars is officially dead to me. Yup, we finally got there. It's been a while since I've given up completely on a franchise, but The Last Jedi was the last straw. Well, at least I still have Star Trek. Oh. Okay, before I start the review, here's a quick overview of my experience with Star Wars. The original trilogy I did not hate, and the prequels I overtly hated, besides Vice Chancellor Masamita, of course. The new Star Wars movies I think are mediocre products produced by a massive corporation to appeal to the largest demographics that at the same time shamelessly caters to fanboys. It might seem weird to have waited so long to claim the death of Star Wars, but the balance has shifted too far. The way I looked at Star Wars for the longest time was as a balanced franchise. We had 3 which didn't suck, and 3 that, well, thought this was pod racing and that sand wasn't all that great or whatever. So they basically equaled out. Now with Tina Fey and Rogue One, the balance has shifted more and more to the negative side. And finally with this movie, the balance is pretty much lost for good, and so now the vast majority of the Star Wars franchise is bad. I will not be going into the political side of the film in regards to diversity or feminism or whatever. The movie is being judged on its own merits. With all that said, let's start the review. Oh, and there will be major spoilers too, so be mindful of that. Or don't. I don't really care. So the basic premise of the film is that rebels are running away from the Empire, and the Jedi character goes off to train and learn from a Jedi Master. If this all sounds familiar, that's because it is. I thought when they remade New Hope that would be a one-time thing, but nope. They couldn't stay away from Empire, could they? At least a horrible argument could be made that Tina Fey was like a reintroduction to the series, so using elements of A New Hope was okay, but now they're all out of excuses. It's just lazy storytelling hidden behind the facade of homage. The sad part is that I wish it ripped off more of Empire, because their choice deviations were horrible and the plot itself was very weak. We have 3-ish stories going on here: Rey and Luke, Poe and the Rebellion, and Rose and Finn. The Rose and Finn storyline is the weirdest of the bunch, and feels out of place in a Star Wars movie. So apparently only these 2 people in the entire rebellion know how the Empire is tracking their main ship, so they're sent on a secret mission by Poe to meet up with a codebreaker at a casino, so that they can then sneak on Snoke's ship and disable their tracker. It almost felt like a scene from Ocean's 11 or any other heist movie where the main characters meet with a specialist of some kind. Anyway, stupid shit ensues and then they get thrown in jail so that they can conveniently meet another codebreaker who can do the job. A horrible escape scene involving riding weird horse things happens, and they all escape. They then sneak onto Snoke's ship and completely fail their mission. So basically, this plot served no purpose other than to have Finn run into Phasma again, so that they could have a quick fight, completely wasting her character yet again. Rose was a pretty meh character who didn't really add a lot to the story, other than saying one of the dumbest lines of the movie, which was, "They will defeat the Empire with love," or something stupid like that. Also, the romance between Finn and Rose was completely out of nowhere and just didn't work at all. Let's move on to Poe and the Rebellion. So basically, the Rebellion ships are able to just stay out of range of the Empire's big guns, but they are running out of fuel. For the majority of the movie, it's just one long chase scene, kinda like Mad Max Fury Road, but without any of the suspense, variety, and character moments. The Empire is continuously hitting their shields but can't penetrate them for whatever reason, and that's basically how it goes for the majority of the film, which was rather dull to watch over and over again. Do you remember the asteroid field in Empire? Hiding in the garbage to get away from the Empire? All you'll remember from this movie is that stupid scene where Leia force pulls herself from outer space back onto her ship. God, I hate this movie. I guess I should comment on Poe. He learns a lesson about following rules and not being so reckless, I guess. What a great lesson. And finally, let's talk about Rey and Luke. So Luke is reluctant to train her. R2 convinces him, and then he doesn't really train her that much. He says he would give her 3 lessons, but we get 1 lesson at best. Most of the time it's just them arguing. Luke doesn't really get his point about the need for the Jedi to end. We have a predictable misunderstanding between them caused by Kylo Ren. Then a horrible CGI Yoda shows up. We waste time watching Rey snap her fingers. All this just so that she could be tricked to leave by Snoke, so that she can attempt to turn Kylo to the light side. Luke finally confronts Kylo through an astral projection, achieves peace, and becomes one with the Force. What a horribly disappointing way to kill off a beloved character. They shouldn't have killed him off. He should have actually trained her, and they really should have given him a better haircut in those flashbacks. Now let's talk about the twists, and how they are a big FU to Tina Fey. The last film introduced some weird looking guy named Snoke, who was the new supreme leader of the Empire, and appeared to be a powerful Force user. This led to obnoxious fan speculation on his identity. Well, speculate no more, because this movie decided to have Kylo betray and murder him before we learned a single thing about him. Not only was this betrayal too poorly developed to make sense, but it completely undercut the character of Snoke. But pessimist, a great twist is one you don't see coming, and Snoke was a clever misdirection and a red herring. Taking a movie and a half to build up a character just to kill him off unceremoniously is just wasteful and cheap. One might think the Game of Thrones deaths would fall under the same category, but those work because they were properly developed. Kylo and Snoke have one scene together before the big betrayal, which isn't enough to justify the twist. But fine, whatever, you really got me with that twist. Instead of having this mysterious bad guy to learn about, we have this unstable whiner running what is now the main government of the galaxy. Yup, what a much better idea. What about Rey's parents, right? People have been dying to know who they are. It has to be a big deal if we waited this long too. Yeah, no. They're just some nobodies. To be fair, I kinda like that better than her being Luke or Han's daughter. But my problem is, why the hell build it up in the first place? Again, Ryan must have really hated JJ's direction and decided to pull the plug on all of his ideas, because his decision to continuously undercut these things seems more spiteful than being just a creative spin on it. So yeah, these twists don't work, and they make you feel stupid for investing your time in those two questions. The movie has so many little problems that they can't all be addressed, so I'm going to cherry pick some of the bigger ones. Let's start with the comedy. It's not funny, and I don't understand why they insist on writing in so much humor. The original trilogy isn't a comedic showcase, so I don't understand why they chose to go that route. I hated the Porgs because they were all I thought they'd be. Shameless plugs in order to get people to buy Porg oranges and Porg shaving cream, or whatever the fuck they're gonna throw that name onto. Especially kids and females who thought they looked cute. I swear that's the only thing they ever did was look cute. Say what you will about the Ewoks being a toy gimmick, they at least had a major role in the movie. What happened to Finn's arc and Tina Fey? I thought he decided to stop running. So then why do we completely disregard that in this movie by having that be one of the first things he tries to do? Man, Ryan, you must really hate Tina Fey. I also think the story was split a little too much between the characters, and that's why a lot of the things seem poorly developed and rushed. Should have been Rey and Luke, Poe and Finn, and a little bit of Snoke and Kylo. We really didn't need Rose, Benicio del Toro, and that whole side plot at all. They also had a canon called the Battling Ram Canon, which was so lazy and stupid that it actually fit perfectly in the film. Okay, that's enough. I can't talk about this movie anymore. I really don't know what Disney was thinking with this movie. I guess they've realized by now that there's an army of fanboys who will defend the movie just because it has the name Star Wars on it. So they don't actually have to worry about making a good film anymore, which is really sad. Regardless of what I or anyone else says about this movie, it's going to make a ton of money. So Disney won't learn its lesson and actually try with the next one. So is this how Star Wars dies? With thunderous applause? It sure looks like it. Anyway, I'd give Star Wars The Last Jedi a 4.5 out of 10. This is the part of the video where I beg for subscribers and shill for Star Wars Episode 9. Alright, bye.